Here we have Secretary Blinken giving crocodile tears over the seven aid workers assassinated U.S. ally Israel. The Israeli government wants to claim it was unintentional or an accident, but the Israeli government knew where these aid workers were and still decided to assassinate them. Uh, we're going to have the United States defending the murders of aid workers, one of them being a Canadian American citizen, showing that uh, the United States doesn't care if their own citizens are killed.
First, I can only say that for so many of us, we extend our condolences to the loved ones, to the families, the friends, the colleagues of those who lost their lives, as well as those who were injured. I spoke to Jose Andres just about a week ago about the efforts that World Central Kitchen's engaged in Gaza, as it is in many other conflict zones around the world, including in Ukraine. They have been doing extraordinary, brave work, day in, day out, and critical work to try to make sure that people in need get what they need, starting with the most basic thing of all, food to survive.
So is anything going to happen to the Israeli government for intentionally murdering innocent aid workers trying to help people? I doubt it.
The victims of yesterday's strike join a record number of humanitarian workers who've been killed in this particular conflict.
And killed by who? The Israeli government.
These people are heroes. They run into the fire, not away from it. They show the best of what humanity has to offer when the going really gets tough. They have to be protected.
Okay, so then we should be punishing the murderers of these people. The Israeli government needs to be punished for the countless amounts of aid workers, journalists, and others that have been killed by the Israeli government with the help of the United States. And the United States needs to be punished for helping the Israeli government.
We shouldn't have a situation where people who are simply trying to help their fellow human beings are themselves at grave risk. We've spoken directly to the Israeli government about this particular incident. We've urged a swift, a thorough, and impartial investigation.
Right. The Israeli government is going to do an impartial investigation on them murdering aid workers. Right.
To understand exactly what happened. And as we have throughout this conflict, we've impressed upon the Israelis the absolute imperative of doing more to protect innocent civilian lives, be they Palestinian children, women, and men, or be they aid workers.
This is just wild how like an American citizen was killed and the government doesn't care what's a Russian soldier. There would be a completely different reaction.
As well as to get more humanitarian assistance to more people more effectively. Finally, let me just say that, as you heard from Stefan, we touched on a number of other issues. I think what we see is an extraordinary convergence between France and the United States on the major challenges of our time. We're cooperating together to try to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific. That means
But in France, if I remember correctly, they're going to punish any uh, French Israeli citizen with if they go to Gaza and commit war crimes. That's something the United States should be doing as well.
a region where countries are free to choose their own path and their own partners, where problems are dealt with openly.
Except the Palestinians, they don't get any rights. They don't get the right to create a state or a nation because they want to. they're prevented from. And even the Israeli government claims that Palestinians don't have the right to a nation.
Where rules are reached transparently.
That's Secretary of State Antony Blinken calling for Israel to urging a swift investigation after 7 aid workers were killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. I want to bring back our foreign correspondent, Britt Clennett, who's in Tel Aviv with more.
One of the aid workers was Canadian American, one was Polish. I think another was from, shoot, I can't remember off the back of my head now, but they were like 7 different people of a few different nationalities that were killed by the Israeli government. Those nations should be putting sanctions on the Israeli government for murdering their citizens.
On that, Britt, what sticks out to you from what you just heard from Secretary of State Blinken?
Yeah, I mean, he really emphasized that this has been a major talking point between the U.S. and Israel, that this has been something that they've raised with them. A record number of aid workers have been killed. He called them heroes. He said that they run into the fire instead of away from the fire. He said they represent the best of humanity and that they need to be protected. He also said that they are talking to the Israeli government and want a swift and thorough and impartial investigation to get to the crux of what exactly happened and what exactly went wrong here. So you could hear in his voice.
Honestly, what needs to happen is the UN needs to send in peacekeepers from many different nations into Gaza and Israel for an investigation, as well as give defense to the Palestinians in Gaza, as well as the West Bank, because the Israeli